The previous DIFC employment law was silent on secondments. Nick, what is the position under the new law?
Under the new law, the DIFC defines a period of secondment as a period under which an employee is seconded to an entity in the DIFC whilst employed by an entity domiciled outside of the DIFC. Therefore, an interesting point to note is that under the new law, secondments can only take place between an entity in the DIFC and an entity outside of the DIFC. Moreover, we should note also that under the new law, a secondee can opt to be governed by a law from a foreign jurisdiction, provided this is contained in their employment contract. Therefore, if this is put into effect, the employee does not have to avail any of the rights or obligations under the new DIFC employment law.
Okay, so for example, if I have an employee in the UK and that employer would like to second that employee into the DIFC, how can that be done?
Unfortunately, that does not qualify as secondment. So one of the requirements under the DIFC employment law is that the secondee must be in receipt of a secondment card. One of the requirements for the secondment card is a valid UAE residence visa. Therefore, only those who are employed by UAE onshore entities or UAE free zone entities can avail of a secondment card. In your example, Shiraz, the employee would have to enter into a regular employment relationship with the DIFC entity, and the DIFC entity would be their sponsor. In this situation, the new DIFC employment law would apply to said employee.
And in terms of secondees working in the DIFC, what are their entitlements and what benefits can they avail of?
On a general note, employees who are seconded to the DIFC and then return to their home jurisdiction after the termination of the secondment avail no extra benefits under the new law. However, this position changes if the employee is hired during or shortly after their period of secondment. So for example, in order to avail of maternity leave, an employee in the DIFC must work for a continuous period of 1 year with their employer. If they were previously seconded to said DIFC entity, any period of secondment will count towards this 1 year threshold. Likewise, in order to avail a minimum notice period, an employee must work at least 3 months to avail a 7-day notice period, between 3 months and 5 years to avail a 1-month notice period, and upwards of 5 years to avail a notice period of 90 days. Again, any period worked on secondment to this DIFC entity will count towards the minimum notice period. As a final point to note is end of service gratuity. So again, the same rationale applies, whereby an individual who has been seconded first and then hired by a DIFC entity, any period spent on secondment will count towards the end of service gratuity. However, if we think about this logically, an individual who was formerly employed by a UAE onshore entity will have already been paid for this period of secondment as part of their end of service gratuity. Therefore, we should query whether this entitles this employee for double payment of end of service gratuity.